Here we have an application problem. It says the pedals on a bicycle rotate on a bike is being ridden. The height of the bicycle pedals varies periodically as a function of the time. That is, every time you push the pedals, it changes, but there's a period to it. It says, notice that the pedals make one complete rotation every 2 seconds. So as we go around this circle, the height of the pedal changes, but every 2 seconds it repeats. It says, make a table showing the height of a bicycle pedal at 3, 3.5, 4, 4.5, and 5. Identify the period of the function, graph the function, and let the horizontal axis represent the time t, and the vertical axis represent the height h in inches that the pedal is from the ground. Well, the first thing I notice this graph is wrong. If you're pushing your pedals clockwise, then they got the time backwards. This should be 0.5 seconds. In here, this should be 1.5 seconds. Now we can see that. So first off, just like anything, we're going to make a table. So I'm going to have my time, and I'll put my height. So I'm going to have time is going to start at 3.0. Then we're going to look at the time at 3.5 seconds. And then 4 seconds. 4.5. And 5 seconds. Now let's find the corresponding height. Well, at 3 seconds, well, I notice it takes me 2 seconds to go around. So I'm going to go around once, that's 2 seconds. Then I add another second, that's 3 seconds. So at 1 second, where the pedal is 4 inches off the ground. We add another half a second on that to 3.5, and you're at 11 inches off the ground. At 4 inches, we're back to the top then, aren't we? So we're going to be at 18 inches off the ground. At another half a second to that, we're going to be, then the pedal's moving down, isn't it? So you're going to be down here at 11 inches. Oops. And then at 5 seconds, you're going to be back at the beginning where you started with, which is 4. Now we're going to graph this. So what I want to do is I'm going to graph my time on my x-axis and the height on my y-axis. So I have time here. And what I'll do is I will break my graph. I'm not going to start at 0. I'm going to start it at 3. So I'll go 3, 3.5, 4, 4.5, and 5. Now I need to go up to 18 inches. So I think what I'll do is I'll count by 2s. So 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, and 18. Now I'll plot my points. So at 3 seconds, I'm up at 4 inches. I'm going to change my pen color here so you can see the dots a little bit easier. So at 3, we're up at 4 seconds. At 3.5, we're going to be up here at 11, halfway between 10 and 12. At 4 seconds, we're going to be up here at 18. At 4.5, we're going down to 11. And then at 5 seconds, we're down here at 4. So here is one period of our graph. Looks kind of parabolic, doesn't it? But it would repeat here. Then, because if I went out to 5.5, then I'd go back up to 11 inches, and so on. So you can see that. Now, you can do this by hand. You can also do this on Desmos. Let's talk about how you do this in Desmos. It should be pretty straightforward. I'm going to make a table, and to save time, I've already put my numbers in my table. Then I'll click on my wrench, and I'm going to adjust my graph so I can see everything. So my x-axis, I'm going to label that as time. And I'm going to go from 0 to, we'll say 20. I always like to have a little bit of a margin there. And we'll count by 2's. And then my y-axis, that's going to be our height in inches. If I can spell right. And then I'll do the same thing. I'll go from 0 to 20 because I want a little bit of space there. Actually, if I look at my x-axis, I don't need to go from 0 to 20, do I? Because my biggest number is 5. So let's back that off. Let's have my time, let's go from 0 to 10. What I'll do is I'll count by 1's then, because there's no reason to have it to go out to 20. Now you can see that. Now the nice thing about Desmos is I can label with my time and my height. You can see that right there. And then let's answer all the questions that we asked. We're going to identify the period. Well, the period is the time it takes to do one complete cycle. And notice in this question, it's 2 seconds. Because it repeats, you start at 3, you go to 5, and it starts repeating. So the period is 5 seconds. I think that's all we had to do in this question, isn't it? Yes, it is. That's all you got to do.